let's continue.
She works tirelessly on that arm of hers, obsessing over it, making sure that it's not useless. Sometimes I wonder if she's talking about herself more than her arm. Cress? The hole doesn't ask much of its residents. Stay quiet, don't draw attention, find comfort in the dark. Despite growing up in Aether Iron in the Undercity, Cress Carter refused to abide. From behind a junker made more of rust than steel, two faintly glowing points rise. Cress appears, pale, milky eyes already wary and fixed to joust.
Where's my baby, 8-Shot?
The low, angry rumble of the island's Aether generators shake the floor in protest of their nature-defying feat. I hope it stifles the sound of my pulse. This is news I don't want to break. I distinctly remember buying it from an Italian rug salesman and his well-armed mother. And you, where were you?
Yeah, don't remind me.
I think you were, what's the word, stuck, wedged, down the wrong chimney to the wrong back room. I still have the scars, you know, from when the shooting started.
Okay. But answer this. Just who fixes that thing every time you add new holes? Who ripped out that trash stock engine and gave you something that actually works? Who made it?
All right, our baby then.
No. Ooh, grease monkey. I need a 7 roll. I get, because my grease monkey skill, I got like a +1, and my heat information gives me +2. So I need a 7, but because I get a +3, I only need a 4. I need a double 2. An 11.
Yeah, about that. Is that a combustion engine you're working on? It's practically an antique.
Mr. Thompson's been holding on to this thing since he first moved here. Left her to me when he passed. She's not much now, but a few more tons of elbow grease, and she'll sing.
She stretches her prosthetic arm and tilts her head, analyzing the jagged edges of this car-shaped hunk of rust like puzzle pieces she can rearrange and solve. She's distracted, mind somewhere free and happy, when I bring her back down. Cress, I got some bad news. The car's gone. I let my guard down.
You lost it? You here then to beg for your life?
I need help getting it back. An iceberg lugged 3,000 miles from the North Pole and thrown in the corner wouldn't have made this room any colder. Cress, Look, I don't come empty-handed. Here, found this on one of my jobs.
Treasure, limited edition Coleman Hawkins record. Cress' favorite magician.
You think you can bribe me with a Coleman Hawkins? Damn. Okay, I'm listening.
She's still out there. My guess is White Street. The thief was after something in a hidden compartment, and they won't get it open without help. White Street will take apart anything if they get to keep the parts.
I'm listening for an apology, Gia. That wasn't just your car. It was hours, days of my blood, sweat, and tears to make it work.
You think I don't feel bad enough as is? I'm sorry, Cress. It's this job I'm on. This client, some hotshot's after her. Same punk who took the car.
Okay.
Apology accepted, if you get our baby back. Now, this job. I thought you were taking things easy still. Honestly, surprised you found work at all. It's only been a year since your uncle died. How you holding up?
Work's dried up. Even the easy jobs that no one wants. What I can get is barely enough to get by.
Have you considered calling in that favor Needles owes you? He's working in White Street now. Pretty sure he could get you a job if you need it. Hear he's been busy lately.
Needles? I'm not talking to that prick, not in 100 years. Not sure who would shoot first if we saw each other again. No, Cress, not him. Wait, are you keeping tabs on him?
You're not the only smuggler that's good at what they do. He's also one of the few who still runs in White Street. Aether over there don't have many options, especially with that tyrant and his constant wars.
War in White Street wasn't new, and it wasn't worth the small talk, or the bad memories that come with it. It's this client. There's something off about her.
Okay.
Off? How?
Can't place it yet. Too many questions. Doesn't help that she's from the Heights.
Well, there's your problem. Anyone who lives that high up has a screw loose. Not enough oxygen. Shouldn't trust any of those airheads.
I might have to if I want to get my car back.
Be careful out there, Gia.
Not right now, Cress. I just want to stay focused, find my car. I bet by now she's in the hands of some White Street chop shop. I need your help, Cress.
2 favors, then. A car, and I assume a lead in White Street.
Her eyes go distant. She never told me who she lost when White Street's Baron executed his last purge, but she disappeared for a week afterwards. When she finally returned, someone else walked around in Cress's leather shoes. She pulls out a pencil, scribbling a symbol on an old stale coffee filter plucked from the ground.
North White Street Harbor, Pier 9. Say I sent you. You'll find some Aether who can help. Maybe. As for the car, got a lemon out back. Not much, but it's a start. Bring it around, and maybe I can get it working. Take these repair kits too, in case you get in a scrap.
Thanks, Cress.
Yeah. Also, Gia, don't be an ass. I'll hear about it.
That's a cat. Customize part. You can change parts within your vehicle in the garage. Select the vehicle to view its parts. Select any part float to view a list of all devices. Matching parts. Equip new parts to improve your vehicle's stats and also give your vehicle a new coat of paint. Select different parts. Armor slots. Empty. And invert. I'll keep what I have. Let's keep what we have. Anything new over here? Oh yes, here. Alfonso Rondazzo, my uncle.
I find the kid where I left her, several pages deep into the adventures of Cloud Captain.
Gia, how did the meeting go? Smoothly, I hope. Did you have to do a wheel and deal?
Worked something out. Anyway, reading break's over. Let's head out.
Already?
We need to move fast if we even want a chance of finding my car and your briefcase in one piece. Best bet? We start with White Street.
Why there? Is it a smuggler thing?
It's a hunch. White Street's whole business is sanitation and recycling. You need something disposed of on the down low? That's where you go.
You're at the first point, Perry.
I don't believe in vengeful spirits. If they existed, White Street would have been torn from the sky in retribution for its decades of war. Instead, it stays floating to spite the dead, a withered shell of its former glory. Nellie, I want you to watch me and stay close.
Why? Is something wrong?
Where would I find the time, kid? Or the heart to fill your head with graves of ash, islands on fire in the night, the thunder of war in the skies? That was years ago. But not yet.
Okay.
Halt! The roads are closed until the demonstration is over. Exit your vehicle and line up for the parade.
Oh, Gia! A parade! Let's go!
If you do not comply, you will be arrested.
Fine. I needed to stretch my legs anyhow. Like a dove on an updraft, the girl flutters off as soon as her heels hit the street, following the music and fanfare to the nearby parade. Hey! I said stay close!
Wowzers. I haven't been to one of these since I was young. Father took me to several, but those weren't as, serious. Where are the floats? The clowns? They're just soldiers. Are all parades in the lowers like this?
Just like this? No. Each Baron has their own flavor of showboating to distract from how bleak life is down here. White Street's just eager to march and flash their guns around.
Something big must be going on. Do you know what's happening?
I'm not sure what this is. White Street has been bleeding territory, money, and men for over a decade in its wars with the surrounding barons. This should be a funeral march, not a celebration.
Ooh, come on, come on, come on. Yes!
Through a hail of ticker tape, I swerve past a waving arm to get a better look at the line of soldiers. Spotless uniforms, polished guns, a show of strength that White Street hasn't been able to afford in years. When did they fill their war chest? Hey, pal, what's the occasion?
The General's unveiling his new machine. Soldiers say it's going to save the lowers.
Save the lowers? Going to take more than some new weapon to do that.
Shh! You want to get us thrown in the tomb? Smile and wave.
He applies more plaster to his smile. I glance around. He's not the only face in the crowd straining to keep the corners of their mouth upright. The cries of support echo emptily. The banners flow without enthusiasm. Like stone pushed through a sieve, the crowd forces out cheers for a devil clad in white.
Is that the Baron of White Street? He must be really popular.
That's Eli Tillingast. Calls himself the General. They cheer because if they don't...
Burn the tyrants!
One hot blast of light was all it took to disappear a crowd, stunning onlookers like a twisted magic trick. Instead of applause, cries of panic and a stampede of feet clap the pavement, while a putrid smell fills the air. My gut twists as it fights every reckless impulse to run.
Feel your nerve. Ooh.
A few onlookers run from the scene. My feet are 2 steps after them before my senses yank me by the shoulders. Eli Tillinghast doesn't tolerate desertion from anyone. The crowd seconds from dissolving into a frenzied swarm. If I don't grab the kid and move, we're going to get trampled flat. However, we're saved by an unlikely savior.
Hold!
The Baron of White Street stands, gloved hand extended. Despite fear and panic, the crowd obeys, frozen in place by a gentle, assuring gesture.
Let the procession continue.
The music starts back up, and the world moves on Eli's command. Coerced cheers rush to fill terrified silence, while marching boots blot out the scorched earth.
The days where White Street bled tirelessly to save a debaucherous world have come to an end. We will bleed no longer. Our enemies will tremble before a weapon they cannot resist, a weapon they cannot overcome. We will demand our rightful place in the sun and rid the shadow of chaos from the lowers. We are just. We are strong. We are unsullied.
He pumps his fist and the crowd answers with a deafening cheer. With all eyes back on the General and his grisly procession, I look for Nellie. These barons are no different than dictators of small countries, playing dress-up and throwing their armies around like toy soldiers on the playground. The war banners of White Street once flew over much of the lowers. I dread the day it happens again. Destruction like that. With weapons like these, they could reclaim everything they've lost, dragging the whole damn city back into war. God help us. Despite the carnage, the crowd's feet remain glued in place. They cheer harder, more desperate, refusing to tempt fate and its devastating new weapon.
Uh-oh.
It's only a second, but I spot a glint of metal in the curve of a black brim that resembles a scarred-up bastard. I go for my gun, but he disappears like campfire smoke in the night. Did he spot us? Or am I jumping at ghosts? I scan the whole street. Nothing. Not a hint of the black hat or my car. I decide not to mention it to the kid. After what happened, I'm jumpy enough for the both of us.
Oh, no! That weapon, red Aether, wasn't to ever... Oh, Gia, those people. Those poor people.
You recognize it? What the hell was that thing, Nellie?
It was never supposed to get out. Never. How did it get out? How?
She buries herself in her hands, breathing hard, wishing with every strained muscle that this nightmare would end. A part of me wants to join her.
I can't stay here, Gia. We have to go.
We can't. Not without attracting serious attention. You saw what happened. If we get caught sneaking out, we'll get shot.
Gia, please.
The kid's bloodless face moves me to glance down the procession line. The tail end's in sight, but the miserable sound from the girl has me second-guessing how long her nerves will hold.
Can we tackle? I need a 5+. I need to roll a 7. Ooh.
Nellie, look at me. Talk to me. Just tell me what that was.
That weapon used red Aether, Gia. A highly volatile, highly experimental version of Aether. It's very powerful, but also very unstable. But red Aether wasn't supposed to...
With nothing more than an empty expression, the kid clams up tighter than a 10-inch steel vise.
No. No.
We have to wait the parade out. Hold on just a while longer.
I understand.
The sound of lockstep boots thumping asphalt finally fades into the corpse-stained wind, and the crowd, released from their mandated joy, finally begins to disperse. Silence finds its way back into the world. All at once, the poor kid's nerves crumble like a paper cup, spilling her insides all over the now vacant street. Take it easy, kid. Slow breaths, all right?
Let's get out of here. Now, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're done. Enough distance passes that ash and screams and a bright, hot light start fading into a bad memory. Nellie breaks the silence.
Is White Street always this... awful?
Often enough. White Street's never shied away from putting down opposition with violence. Never heard of them using a weapon like that, though.
But those were their people. He's supposed to be the Baron. Isn't he supposed to listen to their concerns? What about due process?
Look, kid. It might work that way upstairs, but not here. The only word that matters down here is the Barons, and in White Street, the chain of command's everything. If Eli says we're going to war, you either fall in line, or you're an enemy.
One might have been bad, but the others were simply calling for peace. Where's the harm in that?
White Street tried the whole peace thing a few years ago. Someone blew them to bits during peace talks. That's not something they'll ever forget. It's around here somewhere, hidden. What was that symbol?
Are we really going into the Undercity? Will the Aether Rats let us, or are the stories true? You don't think they'll throw us off the island, do you?
Which stories we talking about?
Yeah.
Well, the ones in the papers? I've never met an Aether Rat, so I honestly don't know how much of it is true or not. However, they're supposed to be benevolent, aren't they? They keep our islands in the sky, and in exchange, they get the Undercity, but everyone knows that. I've heard they generally keep to themselves. Except when outsiders sneak into their tunnels. Also, their eyes all turn into a unique shade of pale blue. They glow, too, from what I've read. Like Aether. There are journals that theorize why, but nothing concrete. Or always pleasant.
Madonna. The kid's understanding is as accurate as a stained mirror. Better clear things up before we go in. Look, you can't rely on the stories you read in the papers. You want to avoid getting grounded? Don't call them Aether Rats. They're Aetheniers, and they're good people. I'm guessing you've never met one?
No. There were rules. We weren't really supposed to interact with them. Or see them.
They don't want to be seen down here either. Too many people can't stand the idea that an island floats or sinks on the whim of an Aethenier. Figure a good rat is a scared rat.
They've done it before, haven't they? I've read of islands crashing because of Aether repulsor failure that could only be possible by sabotage.
And blow themselves up out of spite? No island falls without a Baron behind it and a list of dead Aetheniers trying to stop it. The world down here isn't one you'll find in your books. Keep that in mind. Now, where's that door?
Handlar inte ner sig. Hand-drawn sketch of a claw-looking symbol giving you the bite shot.
Among the fleet of crates, I spy one out of step. Whoever had nailed this one shut had done a hack job, leaving behind a wobbly lid and a crack just big enough for a finger.
Okay, force. Come on, force it open. Yeah!
I stick my finger through the hole, angling past jagged slivers and crooked nails until I find a solid grip. I pull, fighting the groaning, shuddering lid. It gives up with a pop.
Bell price. Power source of metal faster, essentially component for construction and machinery, maintaining industrial sector. Like that. Craftsman.
Careful strokes of paint form an innocuous symbol of a rat paw matching the sketch Cress gave me. This is the right place.
Shopping for trouble? We're just sightseeing real close.
Jeepers! Gia?
A pauper. One of the murderous specters slithering freely through every pipe, waiting to brutalize passers-by. If you listen to the stories. Scary as he is, he's more sentinel than specter. Looking for you, actually. We're friends of Cress Carter. She sent us to ask about a missing car.
Cress Carter?
Strange. Cress's name should mean something. Either he's greener than he looks or he doesn't trust my word. I might need something to loosen his tongue. Name's Gia Randazzo. Who are you if you don't know Cress Carter?
Maybe I know her. Don't know you. Neither of you.
Well, if what you need is an introduction, my name is Dr. Eleanor Reinhardt. Pleased to meet you.
Don't shake hands with strangers, let alone topsiders.
He threatens to disappear back into the shadows and leave us without a way in. But then he pauses.
Doctor? What type of doctor?
Oh, theoretical aethonics. Now, I don't have the experience one of you Aethoniers have with the practical side, but I do know my way around an Aether core. I was actually hoping I could find out a little more about maintenance techniques down here.
You know anything about hydraulic engineering?
No, but I'm a quick study.
Ask who he's guarding against.
We're not looking for trouble. Like I said, just need info.
Could be a couple of terriers, maybe some topsiders looking for some fun.
Just look at her. And if either of us were terriers, you and I both know this conversation would have gone very differently.
You're right, she doesn't. Too shiny. Looking to see how the other half live, eh, sweetheart?
I beg your pardon. I'm not a terrier, whatever those are, and I am not some tourist.
A terrier, sweetheart. Are the ugly bastards who keep us Aethoniers in line. That's how I got these. Every slip-up and slowdown adds to the contract, and I mark each one so they don't get from me a second more.
There's so many.
I'll be paying off my time till the day I die, and hopefully not a moment longer.
I'm looking for a car. 35 Chimera.
Pretty fancy. And what would a car like that be doing in a place like this?
Some goon in a black hat stole it. Figured he'd try to dump it once he got what he wanted.
Pity.
Hi, we gonna ask about hydraulic engineering. Test if he knows Cress or grease the wheel. Only 58. Okay, I'll do that. Shite.
If he knows more about Cress than what he's saying, there's gotta be a crack in his mask. I reach back for anything to respond with. Something that Cress may have said about a relationship with White Street's Aetherneers. I come up with nothing but blind guesses. Think she mentioned you? You the one who owes her money? Or...
Stop wasting my time with things you know nothing about.
I ask about what role.
You're having a problem with your water supply?
War's changed priorities for the Undercity. Water's being rerouted, and there's not enough of the good stuff to go around.
Is it a filtration issue? Something pressure related? Or does it have to do with the temperature regulation?
Don't know. Sounds like you might know a thing or two, though.
The pauper sinks deep into thought. We might as well be having a conversation with a statue.
Friends with Cress Carter, huh? All right.
The armed shadow stares blankly towards us, his pale blue glass eyes casting unknown intent at me and the kid before pounding the space behind him.
And watch yourself.
He melts back into the industrial decay behind him, never once taking his eyes off us. His disembodied voice echoing out one last time.
Or you'll see us again real soon.
Every darkened cranny becomes a potential peephole while we stand there. Like walking to confession blindfolded in a packed cathedral. I can feel hundreds of unseen eyes watching, waiting for a single misstep.
He gave me the heebie-jeebies. Do you think he...
She's interrupted by a gush of stale air riding the echoes of countless thumping Aether machines.
Okay. Alexander and Maria.
Topsiders, why are you here? Hurry, out with it, we're busy.
Lexi, shh. If Harold let them through.
Harold's been wrong before.
Hello, I'm Maria. This is my husband, Alexander.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Nellie. This is Gia. We're not here to bother you while you work on... Oh, is that part of an Aether substructure power converter? I've always wondered about the older infrastructure.
Nellie, that's not why we're...
Right. Gia's friend, Cress, she's an Aetherneer also. She sent us here because we need your help to find this car of ours that has some important stuff hidden away inside.
Too desperate, too vulnerable. I lob a cough towards Nellie, hoping she'd quit her rambling so I could get a word in.
Cress sent you? That girl. Fine, let's hear it.
Ask how they know Cress.
You and Cress close.
We're Aether rats. We're all related. One big happy family.
Lexi, don't be an ass. They're Cress's friends. At least be nice for her sake.
She's running around with all these topsiders causing trouble. And now she risks the three of us. She should know better.
It's a subtle movement. Alexander sends an involuntary glance towards Maria's abdomen before matching my eyes. I couldn't be sure if he was angrier that I caught him, or that he slipped something so personal. These tunnels...
Okay.
They're so big. Where did they go? Everywhere? Can you get to any part of the island from here? Have you ever gotten lost?
I've known too many smugglers who've disappeared trying to find their way through Aether rat tunnels. Success promises an unseen and untraceable smuggling route. Failure costs you your life.
No. Aether rats don't get lost. We can smell our way through miles of...
Lexi, would you cut that out, please? It's an innocent enough question.
This tunnel can get you through most of the barony. If you know where you are going. But don't try it. You'll end up stuck in the dark or taking a one-way trip to old New York.
A 35 Chimera, dumped recently. Have you seen anything? Alexander breaks his scowl with an impish eye and a cracked smile. He knows exactly what we want, and he is going to wring us dry for it.
Maybe. We'll need something in return, though. Harold says you know hydraulic engineering. Is this true? Can you create substitute filtration parts?
With the right equipment and a blueprint, maybe? I don't have any on hand, though. I'd also need time to formulate possible solutions.
Maybes are not enough. We need working parts, now. Eli's new war means that all non-essential requisitions are delayed. That includes water filtration equipment for the Undercity. Now, our water is becoming Aether-tainted.
We can't afford any more of us getting sick. Eli's terriers are already forcing longer and longer shifts to compensate for the fewer numbers.
That's terrible. Of course we'll help. We'll get you everything you need. How do we...
Hang on a sec. Before we agree to anything, I need to know what we're getting into. How much is this info going to cost me?
Water filtration parts, new ones. 1 or 2 crates should do the trick. The more the better.
Why are the parts away?
Aether should have priority. But Eli's leaving you without water?
Should be, but the Baroness quartermaster says the war means less for us and more for the army.
He's a good man at heart. We have leeway with him, more than with the other officers, but...
Natsuko's a soldier, not a man. He's choked us from the supplies we need for years. Now, with the war, he has every excuse to squeeze tighter.
How'd any part of White Street lose out on clean water? I thought that's all Eli cared about, aside from his wars.
Our water is kept separate from the rest of the Baron's supply. That way, terriers can reward us with clean water if we run low.
With our own supply of fresh water becoming smaller, we have to use water tainted by Aether use. Or find ways to make the terriers give us extra.
Why would Eli risk the lives of his Aethoniers? You keep his islands afloat. If you all start falling sick, his islands are going to start dropping too.
We've asked his terriers the same question. All we get back is, get back to work.
You'll have those parts. But I'll want to know where my car is as soon as we're back.
You have a deal. Thank you.
Don't trust the quartermaster. And watch yourself around the scrapyard. It's a dangerous place. Gia.
The man leans forward, grabbing my arm and pulling me in close out of earshot of his wife.
Do not bring any heat back here. If you risk the safety of my family, then you can consider your car lost for good. Here. This address used to house a friend of the rats. It's empty now. Use it to lie low if you can't help yourself from getting into trouble.
Alex releases his stone grip and a slip of paper into my hand. Nellie takes his quick, hushed intercession as a desperate request for success.
We'll get everything you need. I promise.
Poor kid. She has no idea.
I end the conversation. No location. General Eli, 18 years.
We're stopped at a checkpoint manned by White Street officers whose sneers are tighter than their uniforms. I get the feeling these are no shift-clocking schlubs. All whitecaps stink like rotten pork, but these ones seem to be wrapped in fancier dumplings.
Who are they?
If I had to guess, White Street Intelligence. General Eli's secret police.
Oh boy.
You said it. Just keep cool. After a moment of tense quiet, they wave us through.
All right, move along.
Apparently, we're not the particular field mice these hawks are hunting for, and I'm not about to give them a second chance to swoop. As we burn Aether and leave them behind, I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding.
Whew. I hope that won't be a problem on the way back.
If the lifeblood of White Street is industrial refuse, then the scrapyard is its beating heart. From his steel parapet overlooking the yard, the quartermaster governs this realm of rubble with determination. The main lot is in constant noisy motion, A cacophony of combustion engines and sparking steel. When you look past the grime, it's a place of ferocious efficiency and discipline. I spot a crate of water filter parts inside the quartermaster's office. Can't lift him while he's standing there, though. Like his scrapyard, the quartermaster's in a perpetual state of activity. Maybe a nice turkey club once in a while might have resulted in fewer gray hairs for the old soldier. Not while he's here. The quartermaster is a decorated veteran and displays his war memorabilia with pride. Strikes me as odd, from what I've heard about the Philippines. Wouldn't you want to forget? The quartermaster would have a friendly, likable face if it wasn't lined with the stress and fatigue of a lifetime of devotion to Eli. It's clear as we approach he's neglecting 7 other things by talking to us. Sergeant Major Let's-Go. I'm Gia Rendazzo, and this is Nellie.
Pleasure, girls. Sorry about the state of things around here. I don't often host such fine company. What brings you to the scrapyard?
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. You see, we're looking for...
Just a few minutes of your time, then we'll get out of your hair. Sir, how do you get along with the Aetherians in White Street?
They keep to their own, mostly. That's fine by me. Why?
Well, they're not getting the supplies they need to survive, you see.
And you're what? They're lawyers or something?
His eyelid twitches. He's getting impatient already. So I take it you served with General Tillinghast, is that right? Where were you posted?
Yeah, the Philippines. Tough tour. Wouldn't have made it without the General. Saved my sorry hide more times than I care to count. Ah, but you don't want to hear about all that.
I think you must have been very brave to do what you did. And it's plain to see you and the General are very close. He's lucky to have you around, I think.
You're sweet as a Georgia peach, ain't you? Thanks, Missy. He's an extraordinary man. A real visionary, you know?
And what's he envisioning for White Street exactly?
The General's been beating back the Huns at our gates for as long as anyone can remember. You mark my words, ladies. These islands will never fall. And one day they'll be shinier than the heights.
Stars fill the old soldier's eyes, a proud stiffness rejuvenating his weary frame. Talking about his boss transforms him into a younger and more zealous figure. It's almost tender, in a strange, skin-crawling kind of way. You deal with a lot of lawyer types?
There are Aether lawyers? Do they go to law school? Can they go to law school? What sort of law do they practice?
The sneaky kind, sweetheart. Yes, the rats have pet snakes, and thankfully, no, we don't get a lot of them up here. They're nothing but trouble.
Oh.
Burrowed into their libraries of theirs, poring over contracts, looking for loopholes, taking advantage of the system, making a lot of red tape and wasted time for people like me.
He scowls. I decide it's best we ease off. Well, that's just what we want to avoid. Forget I said anything.
Got the chase.
Look, we don't want to waste your time. You got a job to do, and so do we. We're here to make sure the Aetherians get what they need. Can you help? He sighs and wipes his brow, like a boxer who just learned that the fix is in.
It's always something with those people. What are they whining about this time?
They need parts to repair a water filtration system.
Yeah, well, it's wartime. Supplies are tight all around. You know what? I'm gonna be really busy in my office for a while. Stuck staring at paperwork. I assume you can show yourselves out?
It isn't permission. The old bastard would kill me if we ever ended up on opposite sides of a fight. But it's a chance. We can. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, ladies.
With a forced smile, he picks up a clipboard and walks off, shouting orders down at machine operators, and leaving us to look out over the yard alone. The gangway behind us squeals under a heavy step, and I turn to see a black-clad stiff trying to pass us a counterfeit smile. He puts down a half-drunk carton of milk and goose steps into our path, ever so politely blocking our exit.
Good afternoon, Intelligence Officer Randall Pitt. And you are?
Uh-oh.